Hey, what's going on, everybody? Commander Crane here, and we are back with another deck tech. So today we're going to be talking about Squirrel, Aggro, and Modern. This is going to be a really fun list. I'm really excited to share this with you guys. Before we hop into it here, as always, let me know in the comment section below. What do you think about the list? Do you like it? Do you hate it? What would you change about it? As always, as well, if you have any deck list ideas that you'd like me to build or anything, just let me know in the comment section below. And as always, the deck list will also be in the description below if you'd like to check it out for yourself, maybe consider building it. So, Modern Squirrels. So this is a very interesting deck. The other day I was, just sitting there thinking, man, what are some really cool deck lists I could share onto the channel? And for some reason I was like, squirrels! Why don't we do a squirrel deck? So, the last thing before we hop into it here is Squirrels specifically. This is not really a deck, like if you're looking to go to your next like 1K or store championship with per se. This is more of a deck where, if you're looking to play at your local F&M, or if you really like squirrels and you want to build a cool squirrel deck, or if you're just looking for a great kitchen table deck to play at home with your friends, that kind of thing. This is not a deck that's going to be taken on like Murktide Regent and 4-color elementals in the format. It's not meant to do that. It's more just to be a really cool squirrel deck. So, alright, we're going to hop into it here. So we've got a couple of our 1-drops and our main lord. We're playing 4 Ravenous Squirrel. It's a 1/1 for black-green hybrid Squirrel. Whenever you sacrifice an artifact or creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Ravenous Squirrel. Then we can tap 1 black-green, sacrifice an artifact or creature, you gain 1 life and draw a card. So, spoiler alert, we're not really playing any artifacts in here, but obviously there is some self-creature sacrifice in this deck, but a lot of it is mostly just because this is a 1/1 squirrel for 1. It's a 1-drop squirrel that does things, I guess, like, late game, if they're trying to kill some of our bigger squirrels, we can at least sacrifice them to get some value, that kind of thing. But yeah, Ravenous Squirrel is not a crazy, it's not like, oh, super synergistic, it's just a 1-drop squirrel. That's pretty much the main reason we're playing it. Then we're playing 4 Squirrel Sanctuary. It's a 1 green enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 green squirrel creature token. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, you may pay 1. If you do, return Squirrel Sanctuary to its owner's hand. So it's kind of recurring squirrel synergy to it. Obviously making the squirrel, and then if a squirrel dies, we pay a mana and bring it back. So if any of our squirrels die, if they bolt one of our squirrels, that kind of thing. Or if we sacrifice a squirrel to Ravenous Squirrel, then we can, pay the 1, grab it back, play it again, make another squirrel, that kind of thing. So, again, kind of a 1-drop squirrel in a way. Then we're playing 4 Squirrel Sovereign. It's a 2/2 for 2. Squirrel Noble. Other squirrels you control get +1/+1. Obviously, it's a Squirrel Lord, so that's why we're playing it. Squirrel Sovereign, solid card. I really like the foil, the old school foils of these. So if you're interested in picking up this deck, I would highly consider picking them up. They are beautiful. Alright, so our next slide here, we have 4 Squirrel Mob. It's a 2/2 for 1 green. Squirrel. Squirrel Mob gets +1/+1 for each other squirrel on the battlefield. So obviously, if we're having a big army of token squirrels, this thing is going to get real big real fast. Really, that's about it. The Squirrel Mob. It can get pretty big. Then we're playing 3 Chatterfangs Squirrel General. It's a 3/3 for 2 and a green Squirrel Warrior with Forest Walk. This creature can't be blocked as long as defending player controls a forest. If 1 or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus that many 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens are created instead. Then we could tap a black, sacrifice X squirrels, target creature gets +X -X until end of turn. So with Chatterfang, obviously, we have a lot of token generators, like for instance, the 1-drop from the first slide makes squirrel tokens. The next slide you're going to see is going to make more squirrel tokens. So at least we're getting an additional token every time, that we make some tokens when Chatterfang's in play. And if we need to, we can sacrifice some squirrels to get rid of a creature, or technically pump one of our squirrels. Not that that's ever really going to happen, most likely, but just something to keep in mind. So, Chatterfang, solid card in our squirrel deck. Then we're playing 3 Endurance. It is not a squirrel, but it's just that good. It's a 3/4 for 1 green elemental with Flash and Reach. When it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target player puts all the cards from their graveyard on the bottom of their library in a random order. We can cast it for 3, or we can evoke it, exile a green card from our hand. So obviously just fantastic card, good against like Living End, good against Murktide Regent, that kind of thing. Any big graveyard strategy, obviously Endurance helps keep that clear. So fantastic card. Then, this is one of our last slides here. We're playing 4 Verdant Command. It's 1 and a green instant. Target player creates 2 tapped 1/1 green squirrel creature tokens. Counter target loyalty ability of a planeswalker. Exile target card from a graveyard, or target player gains 3 life. So, most of the time, if we're going to be making squirrels and gaining 3, or making squirrels and exiling a card from a graveyard, I mean, if we ever go to, counter a loyalty ability of a planeswalker, that would be pretty crazy. But yeah, most of the time, we're just making squirrels with this. And that's pretty much the only mode you'll ever pick, is squirrels gain 3. Squirrels exile a card from a graveyard. But still a good card. Then we're playing 4 Sylvan Anthem, green enchantment. Green creatures you control get +1/+1. Whenever a green creature enters the battlefield under your control, scry 1. So, main reason that we're playing this is because with we don't have a lot of lords for the most part, because we're playing squirrels. So I decided to play the Sylvan Anthem for a few reasons, mostly because obviously we can pitch it to Endurance, but the other reason being, if we're making a lot of tokens with Sylvan Anthem, like if we go Sylvan Anthem into Verdant Command, then we get to scry 2, which is pretty sweet. Scry 1, then scry 1. So Sylvan Anthem, I think, is just a solid card. It's another Anthem for all of our little squirrel tokens, make them a little bit bigger. So that's why we're playing the Sylvan Anthem. So, then we're playing 4 Fatal Push, 1 black instant, destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less, and as Revolt, destroy that creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less. Instead, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, its removal. This and Chatterfang's activated ability is the only, black that we really need for the deck, at least in the main board. But yeah, we're playing 4 Fatal Push. It's obviously just a staple removal spell of the format. Then we're playing 4 Chord of Calling. It's X green instant with Convoke. Search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield. Then shuffle your library. So with Chord of Calling, I decided to play this over Collected Company just because there's a lot of non-squirrels for the most part that we can hit with the Collected Company, so we won't get as much value from it. So I decided to play Chord of Calling, mostly just because, we can grab Squirrel, we can grab Chatterfang, we can really grab whatever we want with the Chord of Calling. So I decided to play that as opposed to Collected Company. So I think that's our last slide, except for our lands here. It is, yes. So we were playing 4 Verdant Catacombs, 4 Misty Rainforest, obviously staple, fetch lands of the format. Then we're playing 3 Overgrown Tomb. Obviously, if you're playing fetches, you're playing shocks as well. And we're a Golgari deck technically, so we want the Overgrown Tombs. Then we're playing 2 Cavern of Souls. As it enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. We can tap for a colorless or tap it to add 1 mana of any color to our mana pool. We can only use this mana to cast a creature spell of the chosen type, and that spell can't be countered. Those darn control decks, nope, they're not countering our spells. They're going to have to kill them the old-fashioned way. Then we're playing 2 Swarmyard. It's a land we can tap it for a colorless or tap it to regenerate target insect, rat, spider, but most importantly, a squirrel. So obviously that's why we're playing the Swarmyard. We can keep the Chatterfang alive, keep our lords alive, that kind of thing. At least, kind of protect our squirrels a bit. Then we're playing 1 Yavimaya Cradle of Growth. It's a legendary land. Each land is a forest in addition to its other land types. So 2 cool things with this. 1, obviously it can fix our mana a bit. It makes our Cavern of Souls and Swarmyards tap for green. But the other cool part about it is it's every land. It's not just ours. So Chatterfang technically can get unblockable because we can make our opponents have a forest, which is pretty funny. So, not that that's probably going to come up a lot, but it is something that could happen. Then we're playing 1 Boseiju, Who Endures. Obviously, it's a channel land. It's fantastic. That's why we're playing it. If it's free, why wouldn't you want to play it? Then we were playing 4 Forest and 1 Swamp to round out our lands here. So I also decided to play the cool squirrel lands from Unsanctioned. Let me know in the comment section below if you're able to find the squirrel. There's a squirrel hidden in each of the pictures. Let me know if you can find it in the comment section below. So, that is our entire main board. We're already off to the sideboard here. We're playing 3 Thoughtseize, 1 black sorcery. Target player reveals their hand. You choose an online card from it. That player discards that card. You lose 2 life. Obviously, hand attack is fantastic, and Thoughtseize is the best of the bunch, so that's why we're playing it. We have 3 Veil of Summer, 1 green instant. Draw a card if an opponent has cast a blue or black spell this turn. Spells you control can't be countered this turn. You and permanents you control gain hexproof from blue and from black until end of turn. Obviously, it gets kind of a staple if you're playing green in Modern. It's an anti-counter spell, anti-black, blue removal card, so card is fantastic. Then we're playing 3 Assassin's Trophies. It's black-green instant. Destroy target permanent and opponent controls. Its controller may search their library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle their library. Obviously, it gets rid of any problematic permanent that we need to answer. If it's a land, an enchantment, a creature, a planeswalker, whatever, we bring in the trophies and we can take care of them. So, easy. Then we're playing 2 Crippling Fear, 2 black sorcery. Choose a creature type. Creatures that aren't of the chosen type get -3/-3 until end of turn. So a pretty cool board wipe in itself. Obviously we named Squirrel, so all non-squirrels get -3/-3. It's kind of like Lord of the Ground aggro decks, like, they get their own board wipe, but it's like a one-sided board wipe, so just a really, really good card to be playing in general. Then we're playing 2 Force of Vigor, 2 green instant. If it's not your turn, you may exile a green card from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. Destroy up to 2 target artifacts and or enchantments. So, Force of Vigor, obviously fantastic card. Once again, if you're playing green in the modern format, you want to play Force of Vigor. Obviously blows up any problematic artifacts or enchantments, Ensnaring Bridges, Amulet of Vigors, I don't even know. I can't even think of other cards. But if it's an artifact or enchantment, we can blow it up. Then, rounding out our sideboard, we play 2 Voidmere. It's a 2-mana artifact. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no colored mana was spent to cast it, counter that spell. TLDR, this is mostly brought in against Fury for the most part. Living End, we could bring it in against them too. That's pretty much the main reason. Just keep in mind that if we bring in the Voidmeres, our Endurance and our Force of Vigors, we can't cast for... we have to pay colored mana to be able to cast them. Same with our Court of Calling. Just keep in mind, if we got to have at least 1 green up to be, or technically a black, to cast the Court of Calling. Otherwise, our own cord can get countered from the Voidmere. So just a couple things to keep an eye out on if you're playing the deck and you board in the Voidmeres. Just something to keep in mind. So that is the entire deck. Again, I feel like we flew past this one. There was like a lot of 4-ups for the most part. I guess let me know in the comment section below if you do end up building this list. Again, if there's anything you think we should change, just let me know in the comment section below. I think there was a couple different ways we could have gone with this deck. There was a couple different creatures I considered playing, like Realm Walker or Waker, whatever its name is. I considered playing that. Just let me know in the comment section below what you would change about the list. I'm Commander Crane. I'd like to thank everybody for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one.